Snowshoes or skis? When should you go for snowshoes and when should you go for skis? Is there an ultimate solution for this, or are they kind of equal? I'm going to compare some different type of snowshoes and also compare them with two types of skis. Welcome back to Jokkmokk. My name is Matti. I'm working as a dog musher and nature guide up in northern Sweden. I'm living just above the Arctic Circle. Outdoor life is actually what I'm doing for a living. So snowshoes actually come from Northern America, as I understand it. And they've been used for making trails for dog team, for hunting, fishing and transporting yourself when it's winter and snowy. In Scandinavia, we was more into using skis. When you talk about snowshoes, there is many different types of snowshoes. If you're looking at this one called Alaska, it's a classic one with a long tail. When you're lifting it, now this one is without binding. When you're walking and you're lifting it, it's not throwing up snow in your back. So you lift it and pull it forward like this. This is made for a little bit more harder snow, as I understand it. And it's also made for long walk because it's very big. It's not made for walking in a camp or something like that. This is the same type of snowshoes, but if you compare these ones, you see that this is Ojibwe, it's called, and it has a smaller surface in front of your foot. That makes this snowshoe going deeper into the snow like this. So when you walk in hilly terrain uphill, this is a little bit better. But I'm not really good with this. Exactly what they are used for and when they are used. You also have more classic type that's called bear paw or modified bear paw. They are made of wood and they are made of rawhide. You can repair them out there and you can build them out there in the wild when you are in the nature. So this is a classic style. I was using them when I was younger because this was the snowshoe I could find. So I have used this type of snowshoes a lot. Today we use another type of snowshoe that is much more high-tech. It's a kind of claw here for grip when you're walking on harder snow. It's a heel thing if you walk very much uphill. And you have them in different size, different models. And this one is what I would say probably the snowshoes Rolls-Royce. This is made of Atlas. Also, you find it if you Google it. And I want snowshoes that are like 76 centimeter. I don't really know how many, if that is 10 thumb or 35, 1035, I don't know. But something like 75, 36 centimeter, they are usually like that. And I don't want them too wide because when I walk with them, you can find another model. This one is what we use for our guests, a little bit bigger. And yeah, the same idea like this one. Atlas is like 400 euro and this tubs was like 200 euro. So there is a price difference. If you're going to use them a lot, you should spend a little bit more money and buy a little bit quality. We also have these really tiny ones, and these ones are cheap. I bought several of these plastic ones, and they are crap, if I would say my mind. So I have issues here that I had to swap all this, and this one is probably 50 euro. So you get what you pay. This one was super cheap, and if you look under here, it's totally unused and it's already kaput. Probably 20 euro. Learning by doing. In Scandinavia, we was using different type of skis. And when you use a long ski like this, you need more technique than if you're using a snowshoes. So, but in especially in Norway, the kids are born with this on their feet. So you can imagine how painful it must be for Norwegian women. Anyway, the advantage of a snowshoe is that it's very tiny. It fit into your snowmobile. It fit into the pulka. It fit into the dog sled. And so you actually bring them. Another advantage of the snowshoes is that they are easy to use when you operate around the dogs. They're easy to use when you operate around the camp, walking to the water hole. You are stable and you can turn around very quickly and you're not stepping on the feet of the dogs and so on. So that's an advantage of the snowshoes. They're also easy if you get stuck with a snowmobile, because then you can make a trail in front of the snowmobile so you can start again, and then they are really good. They are also easy to maneuver when it's a bushy terrain, when you have to walk in tight forest like this. Everyone can do snowshoe. You don't need a certain kind of skills or anything like that. You put them on the feet and you walk. Of course, there is technique, but almost everyone can do it. When you have been walking and making a trail, that trail frees. So you make really beautiful and good trails for the dog team if you're using snowshoes. Another good thing with them is that you don't need to wax them, you don't need to do anything. Of course, this old classic one, you had to put some kind of painting, I don't know the name of it. You had to put some kind of painting on them, because otherwise this rawhide would start absorbing water. And then we come to the downside of the snowshoes. They are super heavy to walk with in deep snow, because it's falling in snow on it. You have to lift all the snow and you're moving forward super slowly. You don't get not a single meter for free with snowshoes. So slow and very heavy to walk with. And if you arrive to a super good trail, they are totally useless, because then you can walk without snowshoes. So if you have a good trail, they are just not necessary. And as I said, also, you don't get a single meter for free on good trail or when it's downhill. You had to walk every single step you had to make with these ones. So that's the downside with them. Then we come to the skis. A good ski should be very long. This one is 7 foot, so this is a short one. They should be 9 or 10 foot long. A long, narrow ski carry you better in deep, soft snow. And it's also floating better in the snow. This one, it's a Tegsnäs, and they have a sharp bend up here. It's even better if this bend is a little bit more slow. We had a ski maker in Jokkmokk called Östergrens Skida, who make really good skis. I sadly never bought a pair of them, but they are the really good ones. This one is what you find in the shop, a normal shop in the north. I would say that if you are a good skier, almost in all terrain, you are much faster with skis than with snowshoes. Even in bushy terrain, uphill, downhill, if you know how to use them, this is fast. But in deep snow, nothing is fast. When you do skiing, for each step you get a small glide. So you get a little bit for free, even in deep snow, small glide. And sometimes you get more of this gliding. So sometimes you get very much for free when you go downhill, for example. If you make a trail with the skis and then you turn around and want to go back, you have your own trail. And if you compare with snowshoes, with this one, you're actually gliding. You actually can glide, kick, and using ski poles. So this is much faster than the snowshoes, and much better if you find a trail. Then we have to talk about the downside. With skis, you need technique. You can't do it like with snowshoes, because skis you will flip to the side here and there if you don't have a good balance and if you don't know how to do it. If you don't know the technique how to use the gliding, it's also difficult to glide with skis. So skis, then you need technique. Usually skis are also a little bit more expensive than snowshoes, because you need ski boots, you need ski poles, and the skis itself is usually much more expensive than, for example, a snowshoe like this for $200, €200 snowshoe. The skis are more like the $400-500 dollar snowshoes. You also need some basic skills in waxing. As you see, this one is with wood, and this one you wax in a special way with tar, and you can also use a candle here. But you need some kind of skills in how to preparing for gliding and preparing for not getting icy and so on. But you learn that very fast and very easy if you want. And the biggest downside with a ski like this is difficult to transport on the snowmobile, it's difficult to transport on the dog sled, so that's the biggest reason why I don't bring skis like this. And then I had to talk about this called skin-based snowshoe skis. And if you look under, there is a skin here. I made a video about them before, and you have a binding. This binding fit more or less all kind of shoes. This is 129 centimeter. It comes in many different sizes, longer of course, but all of them have the skin under. And this short one, 129, it also don't have the iron thing, so it's really good if I'm out with the dogs. This one is almost like a snowshoe, but I can also glide with it. So I get the advantage of the ski and I get the advantage of the snowshoe. They are also easy to transport because, as you see, they're kind of small. I don't use these ones for my clients on the tours because we use them so much around the dogs. And even this one needs some kind of balance and some kind of technique if you compare to snowshoe. This one you can put on anyone. This one you should not put on anyone, especially if things like you handle dogs at the same time and you do other things like that, because then it's enough only to look at the dogs and not losing the dogs, undress the dogs and do all that things. So I use this because I'm used with skis and I'm used with the dogs, of course. So for me, this is the absolute ultimate tool when I'm working around my dog team. And I can also, if it's bad snow condition, take them on my feet, just standing, holding the sled and skiing beside my team if I need to do that. I can't do that with snowshoes, of course, because then it's not gliding. And I got this after a tour when I had to make a lot of tracking in front of the dogs with the snowshoes. And then I just said, okay, this is not a good tool. This is good for camp, but this is good for camp and transportation. So my advice to you, if you really want to have something universal thing, this is good. They fit everywhere in the sled, in the snowmobile and so on. And they are gliding and you can use them as snowshoes. You can use them around camp and making a camp spot and so on. If you transport yourself longer distance, you maybe should look at the longer ones from this company, Skin Based. They come from many different companies, of course, but we choose the Skin Based. And we are really satisfied with the bindings and everything. We had no issue with that. If you have a snowmobile and you don't want to have skis like this, then I would recommend some snowshoes, maybe not the super expensive one, more like the 200 euro snowshoe, something like that. This is for the enthusiast, the wood snowshoes. They are nice, they are good looking, you can put them on the wall inside your house also. This is also for the expert. Get you a really good pair of wood skis that you use in the soft snow during the midwinter. You will learn the technique. You will of course be it's not easy, but this is really, really fast and really, really good. You can't really compare these two skis when you're talking about fast transportation. Maybe I haven't tried the longer one from Skin Based, and they will probably a little bit more like this. But this one is not good with the wood, not in all snow conditions. This one, you can use them a lot without waxing. Now I also have one kind of wax that I should put on the skin and one gliding wax that I put on this. So you had to It's very, very basic waxing on this one, but there is a little bit waxing also after that you have used it a year or 2 years. I hope you get some useful information out of this, and if you have any questions, please leave a comment down there. You can also tell me what you think is the best for you. What are you using? Are you using skin-based? Are you using something like snowshoe skis? Are you using snowshoes? Or what do you prefer to have? The most important thing with all this is that you actually use it. Put it on your feet, head out into the nature and do some awesome stuff. Do some training, do some tours. Don't keep it on the wall. Don't keep it in the basement. That was all from me today. See you next video. Ciao.